In this video, I'm going to show you how to program a fixed rate, variable rate, and also how to delete the previous data off of the vector probe 3 gauges. First, we'll start off by connecting the gauge to the COM box and to the computer. We'll open folder to view files. We'll open the dashboard Lite software, which is the kc3.exe. On the right hand side of the screen, you'll notice two options for fixed and variable rate. For a fixed rate, just select the scroll down or the pop down menu. Will give you options, preset options. If the preset option that you're looking for isn't there, you can just type it in. For this example, we'll use 10 seconds. You'll want to go down to the bottom here where it says set configuration. Click on set configuration, and it'll ask you if you would like to begin logging. You can click yes if you're going to run the gauges, or click no. For this example, we're going to click no. For a variable rate, we'll click variable rate just underneath it and make sure it's highlighted. And in the box just below that, I'm going to right mouse click. I'm going to add below, and I'm going to set a 1 second sample for the duration of 24 hours, which will show up here. I'm then going to add another, so add below, which I'm going to put a 10 second for 48 hours. And if I wanted to keep adding, I can keep adding. If I wanted to move it, I can add above or below. I can edit it, and I can remove them from here. I can remove them all or just remove the last one I did. One thing I'd like to point out is that the number above here, right beside the fixed rate, is your actual overrun number. So in this example, I would have 1 second for 24 hours. Then I'd have 10 seconds for 48 hours. And my overrun, I'd set, say, for 30 seconds. And hit set configuration. And same thing, it'll ask me if I want to start logging. I'm going to say no. One thing I'd like to point out here, we do have a safety feature in these actual gauges as a pressure trigger. Here you can set the pressure trigger. The default is 206 kPa. You can change this to whatever you would like it to be. Obviously nothing lower than 200 kPa so that the gauges just don't trigger on the shelf. Once that gauge sees that pressure for more than 10 minutes, it'll automatically click that gauge into logging mode. Just below that is the date trigger. If you want to run these gauges, say if you gave these gauges to somebody that's going to run them and the job wasn't for a week, you could set these gauges to kick on the day of or the day before just by clicking this and setting the appropriate settings below. Pressure units, I covered these briefly in a previous video, but all the major standard units are there, whether you're looking for absolute or gauge pressure. Temperature unit, same. For this example, we're going to use kPa and Celsius. So once I have that all set, if you come over to the left hand side of the screen, you'll notice your battery and your memory meters. On the battery, right underneath where it says days, you'll notice that the battery will last for 2,407 days before the battery would die. And right under that, the memory, you'd notice the memory would run for 1,394 days before the memory would become full. So with this, we'll set configuration, which will send that program to the tool. We won't start it logging. One thing I'd also like to point out, on the far bottom left-hand side of the screen, under select job, any previous job that you have on the tool will show up there. So if I wanted to delete all of the information that was previously on this tool, I have couple options. I can either right mouse click and delete the one file, or I can delete all of them that are on here. So I click yes, all the jobs will be deleted. Another option would be if I actually went to my start menu, control panel, and to the removable KZ3 storage device, you would notice the actual raw files listed within here. You could just select them and delete them.